Sorry. Andrés, ¿podemos dejar de compartir para empezar? Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Andrés Allamand, President of the University of Chile, Ennio Vivaldi, Vice President Professor Zhimin Chen from Fudan University, our flag partner, Professor Chen Taotao, Professor Parra, Professor Vera, Professor Bórquez, and Professor Montt. Good morning in Chile and good evening in China. Thanks everybody to join us in this China-Chile Week second panel, in which we will launch the book China-Chile 50 Years of Diplomatic Relations and Integral Approach, published by the University of Chile, in which academics from both countries from different disciplines prepare this collective book on bilateral relations. Because of time restrictions, I will give the floor to Minister Allamand, to whom I would like to express thanks for his generous contribution to the book, as well as all the authors. Please, Minister Allamand, we know we have to leave early, so the floor is yours.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias. Buenos días a todos en Chile. Buenas noches en China, ¿no? Y quiero partir saludando al rector de la Universidad de Chile, doctor Vivaldi, al encargado de negocios de la República Popular China, consejero Su Yi, a la directora del Instituto de Estudios Internacionales de la Universidad de Chile, profesora Dorotea López, a las autoridades de la Universidad de Fudan, a los profesores y alumnos de la Universidad de Chile, a todos quienes siguen esta intervención, este evento. Y quiero partir por agradecer el esfuerzo realizado por la Universidad de Chile y por el Instituto de Estudios Internacionales para editar este libro sobre los 50 años de relaciones diplomáticas entre Chile y la República Popular China, que nos invita a evaluar los logros alcanzados durante estos años y que a la vez nos da una oportunidad para reflexionar acerca de los futuros desafíos que marcarán el vínculo bilateral. Este es un libro de gran valor, al incluir las miradas de expertos de China y de Chile sobre los grandes temas que ambos países deben abordar hacia el futuro, en un contexto internacional que nos obliga a crear espacios de colaboración para responder de forma rápida y eficiente a las transformaciones globales. En este sentido, para analizar nuestra relación con China, es preciso partir por comprender los enormes cambios que ha experimentado dicho país en términos demográficos, económicos y sociales, y el nuevo rol que ha alcanzado en el escenario internacional. Hace pocas semanas atrás, China dio a conocer los principales lineamientos de su plan quinquenal, que tiene dos ejes principales. El primero, el establecimiento de una economía de circulación dual, en la cual el consumo interno juega un rol fundamental en complemento a las exportaciones. Y en segundo término, el compromiso de lograr la neutralidad de emisiones de carbono antes del 2060, lo que significará una gran apuesta para las energías renovables no convencionales. Además, el presidente Xi Jinping anunció el objetivo de duplicar el tamaño de la economía para el año 2035. Todos estos cambios vertiginosos que seguirá experimentando China plantean importantes desafíos a países como Chile para construir una agenda inteligente e integral, como señala el libro que hoy presentamos, que tenga como objetivo ampliar todos los vínculos bilaterales en sus distintos niveles. En esta perspectiva, la política exterior de Chile hacia China, que siempre ha sido una política de Estado, un solo dato: todos los presidentes de Chile han visitado China durante sus mandatos en las últimas 3 décadas. Debe estar atenta a aprovechar todos los espacios para profundizar y densificar nuestras relaciones. En estos 50 años, como todos sabemos, hemos construido una sólida amistad y un intercambio conforme al cual China es nuestro primer socio comercial, el primer destino de nuestras exportaciones y un inversionista cada vez más relevante. Ahora bien, si hubiera que en una sola frase resumir cuál es el principal desafío hacia adelante, no hay duda que es sin abandonar tan sólida base, ir más allá del comercio y las inversiones. Y es aquí donde hay un enorme espacio para las universidades y en general la academia. Chile y China deben profundizar la cooperación en áreas fundamentales como la acción climática, la protección del medio ambiente, la inteligencia artificial, la sismología, la investigación antártica, la astronomía y los desarrollos en energías renovables, incluyendo, por cierto, la producción de hidrógeno verde, donde Chile tiene un potencial natural y un capital institucional que lo coloca a la vanguardia del desarrollo del que será el combustible del futuro. También hay que ir más lejos en la promoción cultural y el intercambio educativo. En la actualidad, cerca de 50 estudiantes chilenos son becados cada año para realizar estudios de pregrado y posgrado en universidades chinas, y una proporción menor de jóvenes chinos realizan sus estudios en Chile. ¿Y por qué no dar un paso más para intercambiar perspectivas y puntos de vista sobre el orden mundial, el nuevo multilateralismo, los cambios geopolíticos, los desafíos climáticos y ambientales y la forma de abordar los problemas globales? El libro que hoy presentamos se inscribe en tal ejercicio de primera magnitud e importancia para el país. Por lo mismo, solo corresponde felicitar a la Universidad de Chile por su visionario esfuerzo y alentarla a que siga impulsando una nueva y aún más fructífera etapa de las relaciones entre China y Chile. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, señor ministro. Agradecemos muchas sus palabras. Quiero reiterar el agradecimiento a nuestros coorganizadores, la Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile y la Universidad de Tsinghua. Y le doy la palabra al rector Ennio Vivaldi.
Muchísimas gracias. Un privilegio compartir esta instancia con el ministro Allamand, con el vicerrector de Fudan, profesor Chen, con la profesora Taotao Chen de Tsinghua y con representantes de la Universidad Católica, de la Universidad de Tsinghua, hemos dicho, y la autoridad diplomática. Muchísimas gracias al ministro por sus palabras. Creo que nos llegaron muy profundamente. Por una parte, el énfasis en que las relaciones entre países como China y Chile deben hoy día dar pasos relevantes más allá de lo que son las transacciones de comercio internacional. Y desde luego, muchas gracias por las generosas palabras que ha tenido para los esfuerzos que hemos hecho desde la Universidad de Chile. Quiero empezar por destacar, por señalar cuán concreta han sido los esfuerzos en estos últimos años por fundamentar esta relación, y parto por casa, en la casa en que estamos, en este lugar de Instituto de Estudios Internacionales, su directora Dorotea López, y en este instituto se ha generado un programa de estudios chinos, y que este año da la primera versión del diploma de postítulo en estudios chinos. Enseguida me refiero a lo que hemos organizado desde la Facultad de Filosofía y Humanidades, la Facultad de Economía y la de Ciencias Químicas con la Universidad de Jinan. Está también la cooperación que incluye varios convenios con la Universidad de Tsinghua, esto de la beca de la Fundación Luxich sobre la llamada Ruta de la Seda, que ha permitido que estudiantes de Economía y Derecho puedan hacer movilidad en China. Está también, y eso lo valoro mucho de primera mano por las relaciones que he tenido con ese proyecto, el Observatorio Nacional de China y la instalación de un observatorio astrofísico en territorio chileno. La Facultad de Medicina con el Hospital Jinggu ha hecho un convenio de colaboración muy importante que abarca desde la investigación básica hasta la administración hospitalaria. Y el último ejemplo que quiero dar es el Centro para la Cultura y Economía Rural, que valoramos enormemente. Ahí hay un conocimiento ancestral valiosísimo, sino-chilena, de la Academia de Ciencias Agrícolas de Jiangsu, y la Facultad de Ciencias Agronómicas de nuestra universidad. Yo quería hacer referencia quizás a dos celebraciones importantes que hacemos este año y hacerla converger en cuanto a cumplir 50 años, me refiero. Una, desde luego, la que estamos celebrando, que son los 50 años de las relaciones diplomáticas entre China y Chile, y que de alguna manera es un motivo interesante para lo que quiero decir después, porque implica una voluntad de Chile de dar un paso que en ese momento era audaz, ¿ya? Pero que sobre todo tenía un sentido de futuro. Y la otra cosa que ocurrió hace 50 años, digna de ser destacada, es el premio Nobel que recibe Pablo Neruda, que es el segundo premio Nobel que habría de recibir un chileno. Y cuando tuve el privilegio y una experiencia que todos quienes las hemos tenido, es sin lugar a duda algo inolvidable, que es el primer contacto que hacemos cuando visitamos China, ¿ya? No pude dejar de recordar de inmediato unos pasajes, te confieso que he vivido de Neruda, y los voy a leer la cita. Ayer me acordé de esto, pero no tenía la cita, ahora la tengo. Dice, ahora... Habla Neruda de su llegada a China. Ahora las calles son el arcoíris delicado del refinado gusto de China. Esta raza que no sabe hacer nada feo. Este país donde la sandalia más primitiva parece una flor de paja. Navegando por el río Yangtze me di cuenta de la fidelidad de las viejas pinturas chinas. Allí, en lo alto de los desfiladeros, un pino retorcido como una pagoda minúscula me trajo a la mente de inmediato las viejas estampas imaginarias. Pocos sitios más irreales, más fantásticos y sorprendentes hay como estos desfiladeros del gran río que se elevan a alturas increíbles y que en cualquier fisura de las rocas muestran la antigua huella humana del pueblo prodigioso. Son las palabras de Neruda para expresar su emoción de encontrarse en China. Quisiera simplemente quizás enfatizar que el futuro de esta relación, como muy bien lo decía el ministro, estamos totalmente de acuerdo con él, tiene que dar un salto mucho más amplio y generarse a nivel cultural y de desarrollo científico y tecnológico. Pero a mí me gustaría poner el énfasis en el momento en que estamos hoy día en Chile, que es un momento de profunda reflexión, es una oportunidad de repensar nuestro posicionamiento en el mundo, y desde esa perspectiva, cómo Chile ve este escenario tan distinto al de hace tan solo unas pocas décadas, ¿ya? Y que invita a una reflexión sobre cómo quiere Chile insertarse en el mundo. Y ahí hay dos cosas que sobresalen absolutamente. Una, nuestra definición sobre si queremos ser un país fundamentalmente extractivista o si queremos cambiar nuestra matriz productiva y pasar a ser una sociedad de conocimiento. Como muy bien decía el ministro, si optamos por lo segundo, el rol de las universidades es absolutamente clave y la responsabilidad que nos cabe es enorme. El desarrollo de la ciencia y la tecnología es absolutamente imprescindible para que Chile se ubique en ese contexto distinto. Y lo otro, que ya no solamente no hay problemas locales, sino que probablemente los problemas más relevantes ya ni siquiera son de alcance nacional. Y si no entendemos que problemas como energía, agua, medio ambiente, son problemas que habremos de tratar a nivel mundial, y son problemas en los cuales la forma como conversamos con países como China es absolutamente fundamental, no vamos a estar absorbiendo esa problemática. Y respecto a eso, enfatizar una vez más algo que ha sido, creo, uno de los principales temas de debate, de reflexión en nuestra universidad en los últimos años, y es cómo pasamos de esta excelente modalidad basada en cada uno de los sectores del conocimiento, salud, derecho, humanidades, tecnología, agronomía, etcétera, cómo comenzamos una transición, ¿ya?, hacia una universidad que trata los problemas de una manera transdisciplinar, que es, como lo hemos dicho tantas veces, el principal objetivo de nuestro proyecto para el nuevo campus que tendremos en Caret. Y entonces, desde esa doble mirada de la transdisciplinaridad y de la internacionalización, que nosotros saludamos y celebramos este libro que, como siempre hacen los libros, es un testimonio intelectual de una historia y es un punto de partida para una nueva época que estamos seguros va a ser muy esplendorosa para ambos países. Y no puedo dejar de terminar sin un agradecimiento directo y personal a Dorotea López, por cuanto el Instituto de Estudios Internacionales ha hecho de la relación con China un tema principal, cosa que no solo la universidad, sino que el país entero hoy día agradece. Muchas gracias a todos.
Muchas gracias, rector. Muchas gracias también por todo el apoyo recibido. Y vamos a agradecerle mucho al rector y al ministro habernos acompañado. Desafortunadamente nos los roban. Sabemos que los están esperando para otro evento y los está esperando el presidente, por lo cual agradecemos mucho el habernos acompañado estos minutos que tenían libres y nosotros continuamos.
Muchas gracias.
It's our turn.
Okay.
My turn.
Ministry changed a little bit, so we are a bit confused if we have to go on in English or in Spanish, but it doesn't matter. We will go either in English or in Spanish. Sorry for that, and thanks for staying with us. Now I will give the floor to Vice President from Fudan University, Professor Zhimin Chen, and I want to extend my thanks to him because Catholic University and University of Chile, we are both part of a FLAU consortium that has been very important for all our links with China, and we work very hard for 2020, it was last year and the year before in order to try to do the annual conference, and Catholic University and University of Chile are still looking forward to organize it because we have all done so. Thanks for all the support and thanks for all the understanding we received from Fudan University. And Vice President, thanks to be with us here. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Your Excellency, Minister Allamand and President Vivaldi, ladies and gentlemen, buenos dias and buenas noches. I'm really honored to attend the book launch of Sino-Chilean relations, a comprehensive approach on the occasion of the official commemoration of 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and Chile, and along with so many, very distinguished guests and outstanding scholars from both countries. 2 months ago, I participated in another event to celebrate the 50th anniversary, organized by the Catholic University of Chile. We had a university president panel. In that panel, university leaders from both countries all emphasized the importance of academic and scientific cooperation between China and Chile, and really looking forward to strengthening this relationship in the future. Chile as a nation signifies a poetry and a romantic utopia for the Chinese people. Your country faces sea with mountains in the back, enjoying magnificent landscapes and rich resources and splendidly diverse culture. The industrious and ingenious people of Chile, with your strength and perseverance, have created a great nation. And China and Chile are far away from each other, but two peoples enjoy a long history of interactions and profound relationship. Pablo Neruda, a Nobel Prize laureate, and certainly the most famous poet in Chile and in the world, referred to China affectionately as a great nation, a great brother. And even the English names of our two countries, China and Chile sounds like brotherhood relationship. Just as the ancient Chinese poem goes, being old acquaintance, regardless of the distance, being great neighbors, even thousands of miles away. The Chilean proverb also says, good friends are like stars in the sky, reflecting each other, although in the distance. I'm very glad to witness that over a half century, the two countries have always adhered to mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit, openness and tolerance, and brought the close relationship to the level of today. Openness and innovation are two major characteristics of the 21st century. All the universities have to keep up with this trend and continue to open up and innovate, bearing the great responsibility of promoting social progress and development of human civilizations. Fudan University is striving to become a global excellent university with future-oriented research and education. Our vision for academic excellence and first-rate scholarship shall reflect upon the progress of science and technology, the enrichment of ideas and culture, and contribution to human progress. It is important that the universities shall contribute to the betterment of the country and also the world, and should promote cross-cultural exchanges between young students in China and other countries. Fudan's research on Latin America, started quite early in mainland China, and today Fudan still pioneers in international exchange between Chinese and the Latin American people and universities. In terms of student exchange and cultivation, Fudan hosts Chilean students at all levels. I'm seeing one of them on screen, covering majors of liberal arts, science, medicine, engineering, and furthermore, the Department of Spanish was re-established in 2017 in response to our keen interest in and also the growing significance of Latin America. The first cohort of students in our Spanish language department we're going to complete their undergraduate studies next year, and we also will start a master's degree program. So nowadays, the diverse interdisciplinary research and teaching interests of the Department of Spanish extend far beyond the traditional fields to embrace cultural studies, trans-Pacific studies, intellectual history, media studies, and among others. The University of Chile is one of the oldest universities in the Americas and the most prestigious university in Latin America. In November, the University of Chile held its 178th anniversary celebration. The exchange of teachers and students between Fudan and the University of Chile have become more and more frequent, resulting in growing numbers of academic achievements. The two parties have carried out various and fruitful cooperation and exchanges through the U21 Health University Group, Fudan Latin American University Consortium, the FLOC, the Shanghai Forum, and other platforms, including conferences, summer schools, visiting scholar programs, academic conferences, and publications like this one, covering areas of public health, international affairs, management, etc. With a generous donation, around like $70,000 by Mr. Andonico Lucic, the chairman of the Chilean Lucic Group and member of the International Advisory Board of my university's School of Management. Our management school have carried out student exchange programs with counterpart schools at the University of Chile since 2017 to enhance mutual understanding among students and to strengthen academic communication. For a long time, Mr. Lusig has been providing very valuable suggestions for the development of Fudan School of Management and strive to promote cooperation between Chinese universities and South American universities. In May 2017, Fudan University initiated the Fudan Latin American University Consortium with 12 universities in 6 Latin American countries, including the University of Chile and the Catholic University of Chile in Chile. Since then, we have been working together closely through various occasions, and this kind of a collaboration has greatly enhanced exchanges, cooperation, and mutual understanding between China and Latin America through joint research, faculty mobility, international conferences. Through this platform, President Zhimin Chen of Fudan University also proposed to set up a seed fund, which is supported by Fudan University's research projects to facilitate the various academic projects involving scholars from Chinese and Latin American universities. After nearly 2 years of cooperation, the project has formed a stable academic cooperation network and has started to produce many journal articles, media publications, and book publications. The consortium is also serving as a new starting point for academic research, as well as academic bridge between China and the Latin American, promoting the exchange of talents and ideas, and the establishment of a better world. In 2019, a delegation of Chile and Chinese interparliamentary group of the Chamber of Deputies of Chile, led by Mr. Fedor and Edgardo Espinosa Sandoval, visited Fudan to know about how we operate the FLOC network. And this year, Fudan and Chilean scholars have mainly conducted collaborative research online, but still they have formed multiple long-term research groups on topics such as trade policy, urban agriculture, language, and culture. Next year, the annual conference of the consortium will be jointly held by the University of Chile and the Pontifical Catholic University of Chile in November in San Diego. We missed the last year, but we really hope that next year, November, the situation will allow us to come to San Diego and everybody can meet and face-to-face and to celebrate what we have achieved, and then we move forward to have a much deeper relationship between these among scholars and among the universities. The book, A Sino-Chilean Relations, a Comprehensive Approach, is jointly written by scholars from China and Chile. It interprets China-Chilean relations from perspectives of historical evolution, cultural exchanges, economic and diplomatic relations, and strategic cooperation, and also looks into the future of this bilateral relationship. On the framework of the cooperation between University of Chile and Fudan Latin American Consortium. Dr. Wang Longxing, one of our Spanish department of Fudan University, wrote a chapter entitled Seeing China Through the Eyes of Chilean Media and Vice Versa, Closing the Cultural Gap of the Past 50 Years. I think he did quite a good analysis about how the image of China is portrayed in the Chilean media, and how this the Chilean image is formulated in the Chinese side. I believe that this kind of research is very important for us to understand how we perceive each other, what the role the media has played in formulating the image of each other in two countries. In that regard, I really think that it is important to emphasize the research of media studies. And I also see quite new initiatives like creating a digital TV channel in the University of Chile to promote the communications among people and across nation. The world today is marked by changes unseen in a century. Confronted with the severe coronavirus pandemic and complex and inchangeable international situation, we really should work closely together to cope with all the risks and challenges we jointly face. And in that regard, we must remember that there is always an unbreakable bond between the two countries, even though we are far away apart. As the Latin American proverb goes, a true friend can reach your heart from the other side of the world. China and Chile are indeed such good friends. At the moment, China-Chile relations are standing at a new historical starting point, facing the new development opportunities and the broader cooperation prospects. We hope the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries will be an opportunity for us to strengthen our mutually beneficial collaboration in all aspects and forge our strategic partnership, which in turn will add more vitality to the development of the Asian-Pacific region and world as a whole. So on behalf of Fudan University, I express once again congratulations to the successful launch of this book, and also our keen expectation of even closer ties with Chile and Chilean universities, with the University of Chile too. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish everyone a very healthy and successful year of 2021. And we expect that we will come to San Diego next year. So bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice President. We are really looking forward to have you in November in Chile. I'm sure Dr. Johannes Renner and myself, we are really looking forward to take again all our work. And as you say, we have really close relations, and both countries in English, as you mentioned. We have to go on with our work in order to strengthen cooperation. Now I will give the floor to Professor Chen Taotao in order to introduce the book, one of our distinguished authors. Please, Dr. Chen Taotao.
Thank you very much for your invitation. It's my pleasure to come to this wonderful event. please allow me to mention that at the very beginning, with the donation of Luxi Group, Tsinghua Latin American Center was set up at the end of 2018. Although the pandemic stopped us flying to Chile, we still can organize such a wonderful events together online. I'm so happy about this. Please give me a couple minutes to allow me to mention all the joint activities for all these days, right? Yesterday, it was the collaboration between the School of Economics and Management, Tsinghua University, and the Department of Economic, the professor in the Economic Department of Catholic University. We're discussing how to improve economic development while taking control of the COVID-19, right? Today, it is the collaboration between University of Chile and Tsinghua University and other Chinese university. We're trying to summarize the achievement we got for the China-Chile relationship for the 50 years, right? And next, tomorrow, it will be a collaboration between the, between the professors of Tsinghua and Tsinghua's Alliance Chinese University and the University of Chile, University of Catholic University, and their alliance universities. They are going to discussing the online education, right? And next, and it will be a collaboration between the medical expert from Tsinghua University and Catholic University. They're going to discuss and share experience of fighting against COVID-19 from medical perspective. And then we're going to have the last webinar. It will be the collaboration between the professor of UChile, the professor from Catholic University, and the professor from Tsinghua University and our Tsinghua Associate Company. I'm discussing the engineering, Chile and engineering 2030. Actually mentioning all of this and all of this collaboration. I'm just wondering how you feel about this, right? I can tell you that I do feel excited. I do feel the strength that the collaboration of the scholars can have. And I do feel the tremendous energy that can be released by this type of collaboration. I actually am very much proud of being part of it. Having said that, in fact, when I was receiving the invitation for this speech, it actually gave me a chance to rethink about my academic life so far, especially the challenges in latest 10 years. I would like to share my personal experience with all of you, but with limited time, I'm just trying to pick up some of the points that I want to share with you, okay? Before I share all these points, allow me to mention some of my career process so that you can understand why I have those type of feelings, okay? I have 10 years research experience in China's open up and welcome foreign direct investment. I studied the strategy of those foreign direct investment, trying to see, sorry for this, trying to see the impact of those foreign direct investment on macro level, industry level, as well as the firm level on China. And I have another 10 years research experience on Chinese company investing abroad. And then I combine both FDI inflow and outflow, trying to figure out what kind of impact of foreign direct investment inflow on the capability building of Chinese company investing abroad. So during all these years, I have all kinds of experience working with my international partners, learning a lot from them, and get huge benefit from this type of collaboration. So let's come back with this as a background. Let me come back to the point I want to share with you. I feel that there are at least 3 facts in front of us that we have to be aware of. One, the world is very much complex. The second, people has limited wisdom. Third, the world has already very much globalized. Actually, being a professor of international business, I do know the world is complex. In IB area, international business area, there's a known theory called CAGE, which is created by Harvard professor Ganward. It basically to say that there are differences between home country and host country. He mainly classified these differences into 4 areas: culture, administration, geography, and economy. So if you pick up the first character of these 4 words and put them together, you end up with the word cage. And also according to this theory, the differences exist on different level, at least on macro industry and firm level. So if you think about all the different area and plus levels, you would end up with the vivid cage, isn't it? So the larger the cage, the more challenges in front of the company who want to invest abroad. Actually feel that this cage theory is very true, not only for the international business area, it can be true in the whole world. See, whenever 2 countries have large distance, and it would be, large differences, okay? It would be very difficult to understand each other, right? We have tremendous examples here, but I do not have to mention to you, right? The second fact I mentioned to you, people has limited wisdom. Why I say that? A known fact is that the people cannot live long, right? Basically can enjoy less than 100-year life. That is much shorter than the human history. Another known fact is that people live in a different part of the world. Every country, every nation has its own history. It may be very difficult for a person to get a deep understanding of the other nation. That's actually a certain fact. One more certain fact is that the information is asymmetric. In general, you can get only part of the information towards any fact, especially for international issue. So put all these facts into consideration, it will be very, very difficult for any people, no matter how smart he or she is, to understand the complete picture of a certain issue, especially an international one, right? The third fact I mentioned, the world is already been very much globalized. I think we have already, everyone here have experience of this process. I do not need to use more example, especially from the international business area, right? We do not need more example to explain that. So having said that, these 3 facts in front of us, you can imagine in a complex world with people of limited wisdom, and we're living in a globalized world, meaning that we have to interact to each other. So towards any issue, people from different countries could naturally have different opinions, isn't it? Towards any issue, countries might have naturally different interests, isn't it? So what would be the further result of all this? People could misunderstand each other naturally. Country can get into conflict naturally. So what we can do about it? Let me come back to think about our scholars. What is the nature of the career being a scholar, being a professor? To me, being a scholar or a professor is the type of career of pursuing objective truth. It is not easy to pursue objective truth, isn't it? It needs a lot of effort. But that's not enough. It also needs us to possess an honest attitude and determination not to be moved by interest. And it needs us to be open-minded and with open attitude to accept differences, right? With that in our mind, we can go further to explore the reason for those differences, right? So if you agree with me, our Korea have this type of characteristic. With this type of characteristic, I think it seems to me that the collaboration among scholars for different countries is easier than others because of our characteristic of the Korea. And it might be easier to build up trust among us and work together for big achievement. Because of the time limited, I won't give you the example. Actually, I do have beautiful example in my mind. So with this type of characteristic of the Korea, it seems to me that it is our responsibility to combine our knowledge and effort and to dig out more truths for this from diversified angle so that we can provide the world a rather more complete picture. I think if we can do this and share our finding with the world, it might be helpful to reduce some of the misunderstandings and help people to have the confidence in each other and build up the trust. Do you agree with me? Now, we are living in a more complex world. I believe it is every friend here can feel about it, right? I do believe it is the timing for the scholars, especially for the scholars who have already set up the trust for each other, to face and work together for the challenge of the world. So where the world would be going, multilateralism or unilateralism, whether we have to fall into another round of Cold War again, can we rethink about the existing term, socialism, capitalism, and how we think about the future of human being, what we would like, okay? So towards these big questions, to me, it would be very difficult for individual scholar or the scholars from only one country, one region to work out. It is only the collaboration among our scholars in friendly countries around the world that we can face the challenge together. So what I'm trying to say here is that collaboration among scholars is precious, is wonderful for all reasons. In the end, our collaboration could help us to build a better and more promising future of the world. Let's continue to do it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Chen Taotao. Definitely, I fully agree with you in the importance of collaboration among the scholars and the challenges we have in a more complex world, and that we have to work very hard in order not to misunderstand each other and to try to go on working on this kind of collaborations amongst universities, amongst Chilean universities and Chinese university, and get all together in order to improve our understanding to each other. Now we will have Professor María Montt from Catholic University of Chile. She is one of our authors, and she will present the first part of the book, and then we will have Professor Andrés Bórquez from the University of Chile. Thanks, Maria, to be with us today and to present the book. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It is an honor for me to have been invited to present the book, Sino-Chilean Relations, edited by Andrés Bórquez, Dorotea López, and Felipe Muñoz. It is an honor to be presenting this book to such a distinguished panel of Chilean and Chinese authorities. The diversity of topics included in the book are effectively a comprehensive approach, a fundamental way of approaching, studying, and developing a relationship between Chile and the People's Republic of China, both in terms of historical perspective, as also central to the relationship during the present and for the future. More knowledge about China and Latin America is necessary, something acknowledged by institutions such as the Instituto de Estudios Internacionales of the Universidad de Chile and its program of Chinese studies. The relationship with China is a growing discipline in Chile, but there is still a long way to go. There is a need of more space for dialogue, discussion, and for the development of critical perspectives regarding the relationship between both countries. This book helps to fill that gap. The book is divided into 6 topics. I will discuss the historical perspective, cultural relation, and diplomatic relations section, which together contribute to our understanding of the process that has led to the commemoration today, 15th of December, of 15 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations of Chile with the People's Republic of China. The first chapter is extraordinary. Written by José Miguel Vidal, it concerns the first knowledge about Chile and China. Knowledge about Latin America arrived to China through the Jesuits. Towards the 19th century, new sources of information, including Protestant missionaries, translations of Japanese geographies, and travelogues of Chinese diplomats, as well as the works of Chinese experts, contribute to the knowledge of Chile and China. This chapter reminds us of the importance of those who mediate knowledge and the importance of history and geography in long-term programs of exchange. This is also explored in the following chapter by Kung Jiang. The second chapter evaluates the triangulation in diplomatic relations between Chile, the People's Republic of China, and Taiwan during the Cold War, a time of many shifts and confrontations. As historians Chen Jian and Arne Wested have studied, the PRC was a central actor, and the establishment of diplomatic relations between the PRC and Chile had to be sorted out within the global power shifts, with many Chinese and Chilean actors playing central roles. The following chapter, by Carlos Portales, evaluates the relationship between both countries while emphasizing, most necessary in my view, the changing context of the globalized international world. Portales reflects on this process going back to 1845 and in 1915, when a treaty was signed in London establishing diplomatic relations with China. Later, within a Cold War context, as other chapters in the book also show, led to diplomatic relations being established with the PRC in 1970. While the continuity of diplomatic relations after 1973 came as a surprise to many, the principle of non-intervention in other countries' internal affairs and, among others, efforts of Chile to open the country to Asia Pacific also contributed to the relationship between Chile and the PRC. As the author notes, the opening to international markets and the privatizations in Chile aligned with the process of opening and reforms led by Deng, helping develop the strategic relationship between both countries today. Indeed, the commercial exchange will continue to grow, and professionals, officials, scholars, and students that are working in areas related to China should be central to forwarding the relationship between both countries. Multiple institutions have helped develop the relationship, and many challenges lie ahead. To mention one, the environment, indeed a topic central to our existence, including water and air pollution and rights, as well as the protection of sea resources. The last 50 years allow us to imagine a relationship that is built on growing mutual knowledge, the avoidance of conflict, and following both countries' principles. These 3 first chapters reveal the importance of the relationship in all its numerous aspects, within and beyond economic exchanges. This relationship develops in a broader context that considers the international background in different moments in history. This broader context must also include the arrival of Chinese persons in Chile from the 19th century under the so-called contract system to those groups of migrants that have arrived to Chile from Guangzhou and Zhejiang in the last years, and whom we find establishing businesses and engaging with local communities throughout the country, Chile. The second section of the book focuses on cultural relations. The cultural exchange has been an integral part of the relationship between Chile and China. going back to the exchange via the Manila Galleon during the times of the Spanish Empire, and later with Chile as an independent republic. After the establishment of the PRC in 1949, non-official exchanges contributed to keep channels of communication open. Institutions such as the Institute of Chile and Chinese Culture contributed to develop cultural links. This relationship that goes beyond traditional diplomatic exchange continues to these days, as we can see through the educational exchange programs or the establishment of agreements between cities. The twinning of cities also contributes to the relation between countries, as Ignacio Araya will develop in the book as well. We also see the growth of co-productions in cinema, as well as a growing number of artists working with Chile and vice versa. There is also music written by Chilean musicians for Chinese instruments, and there are ensembles of Chinese music in Chile with Chinese and Chilean members. The chapter by Wang Longxing explores the way in which Chilean media represent China, how an image of China and the Belton Road Initiative are represented. Analyzing a sample of news published in various Chilean newspapers in 2019, the chapter explores the topics that are central regarding China and Chilean media. The first conclusion reached is that the Chilean media represents China as an actor with which it shares economic and commercial interests. In second place, Wang mentions that China is perceived as a defendant of the values of multilateralism. As a third aspect, the article mentions China as an actor that confronts the US. Within the Sino-US commercial war, Chile, the article states, sees China as an opportunity, in the sense of becoming the door of entrance for China in Latin America. This study complements other studies on the representation of China in Latin American media, or other ways that evaluate the ways in which China has been depicted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Like the text of Vidal, this chapter makes us consider what ideas about Chile there are in China today, and vice versa, just like Dr. Chen mentioned. The first section of the book that I will refer to are diplomatic relations. In this section, Ignacio Araya explores the subnational level actors, exploring the relationship between Chinese provinces and Chilean cities and regions, where cities and states become global players. He highlights the case of the region of Biobío, which has signed the most agreements with Chinese cities, with educational and commercial missions, official declarations, among others. This area seems most promising. The relationship between cities and provinces and regions seems to be one of the aspects that one should focus on. These become spaces of dialogue, developing at the local level, and, as Ignacio Araya stresses, centered around people. These relationships that extend to the central level lead us to reflect if this may be one of the ways we should be focusing on. The final chapter I will discuss is written by He Shuangrong and Wang Yuxin and discusses the model of cooperation within the Belt and Road Initiative between Chile and China. This chapter highlights the way in which both countries have managed a system of cooperation that benefits both countries and can be potentially considered a model for BRI in Latin America. The authors highlight some specific aspects: solid long-term relations between both countries, that the BRI will contribute to the quality and efficiency of Chilean-Chinese cooperation, and that Chile and China have complementariness within the BRI project. They then suggest, among others, that both countries must develop a plan and innovate in mechanisms for cooperation, that platforms for cooperation must be developed. All these texts point towards the importance of relationships between people, as well as the importance of exchange and mutual knowledge for successful relations between countries and organizations. Indeed, many figures have been central to the relationship with China. Here I mentioned, just as examples, Francisco Rivas Vicuña, who was in Shanghai in the 1920s, and Olga Poblete de Espinosa, professor of history at the Universidad de Chile, whom was, among many extraordinary things, one of the first Chilean women to travel to the People's Republic of China. The relationship between Chile and China is a long one, and it is full of details that, beyond the great numbers of economic exchange, remind us that this is a relationship between countries and that countries are made of people. An example, in November 2005, the Chinese ambassador to Chile, Li Changhua, also a contributor in this book, gifted in the name of the PRC 60 last generation computers to schools in Chonchi, Ancud, and Kemchi in the island of Chiloé. It is these gestures that continue to build relationships at the local level, and from the local level to a national and global level. In these times, we must turn to our local and global and international communities to find ways to work together. All the chapters I review here come together at one point: the importance of keeping open channels of communication. This dialogue has characterized the relations during the past and should continue to do so in the future. And even if I am being repetitive, more knowledge contributes to dialogue and helps communication. This book will surely be of interest and use for those working on the relationship between Chile and China. Aware of the complexities that all relationships bring, the multiple perspectives presented in this book allow the reader to understand the diverse elements, challenges, and opportunities that characterize Chilean-Chinese relations. I recommend this book to all those interested in the relationship between both countries, historically and looking towards the future. I highlight the diversity of authors in the book, developing a binational dialogue, allowing for contrast between diverse views and with the collaboration of different institutions, scholars, and people. I thank and congratulate the editors for their work. Let us hope for a translation into English and Chinese in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Montt. I'm sure with your excellent presentation will incentive the people to read the book. And it's very important what you said to us, that the importance of keeping open the channels and the relevance to try to understand, as Professor Chen Taotao mentioned, the diverse elements and opportunities that characterize our relation. So now I will give the floor to the editor, Professor Andrés Bórquez. He is the coordinator of the China Studies Program and professor of the International Studies Institute at the University of Chile. I would like to personally thank him because he has done an impressive work trying to get closer the understanding between China and Chile, and his program is doing a great job. So thanks for all your effort, Professor Bórquez, and also to Professor Felipe Muñoz, who was also part of the editors of this book. And you have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Dorotea. Good morning, everyone. We are very happy to share this new step in academic cooperation between both countries, especially sharing with professors from my former and current House of Studies, Fudan University and University of Chile. This morning, I will make brief comments on three sections of the book: economic relations section, strategic relations section, and new avenues. Before starting, I would like to thank the professors who participate in these sections: Felipe Muñoz and Pei Yuan in the economic section, Mario Ignacio Artaza, Chen Taotao, and Zhimin Chen in the strategic relations section, and Li Changhua and Professor Jorge Heine in the new avenue section. So this book is a remarkable example of how Chinese and Chilean academics have created networks of research collaboration. Many of the authors in this volume have a mixed academic expertise, involving Chinese scholars with focus on Chilean or Latin America studies, and vice versa for Chilean scholars. The outcome here is a carefully edited volume that tries to look behind the diplomatic relations. Because of the complexity of interactions between Chile and China, this book cannot arrive at a single model for describing interaction that are sometimes non-zero sum or near zero sum interactions. Therefore, the book refers to an engagement that is complicated as well as comprehensive and opportunity, involving a convergence of interests among the stakeholders facing growing interdependence. The chapter on trade relation from Professor Felipe Muñoz is about fruitful commercial exchange. After the signing of the FTA, commercial exchange have multiplied 5 times. This sounds like excellent news. It's excellent news. But a deeper analysis show an increase in economic dependence. Exports are concentrated in few products and players. The other highlight that this is more than a threat, it's as an opportunity for Chile to learn to diversify its export basket to China. A similar logic is observed in the chapter on investment, which since 2018 marks a turning point in the presence of Chinese investors in Chile. Chile did not participate in the first Chinese investment boom in the region from 2005 to 2016, but in the second wave of investment, China is interested in business related to infrastructure, connectivity, and energy sector. In these areas, Chile is an attractive market. China is moving closer to bidding and improving its position by buying energy companies. The investment had been good news for Chile. However, they don't add value to the local industry. So this is a challenge. Now, in the strategic relationship section, a similar dynamic is observed. Strategically, there is not direct base for tension between China and Chile. The two countries do not share a common border or compete for territory. However, there are differences in the political system. But both chapters in the section propose respect for differences as mechanisms for integration, and that agenda towards the idea of strategic partnership have to focus on commonalities. Specifically, Professor Taotao Chen chapters is highlighted that based on the development of economic and trade relations, bilateral relations have been improved and an important consensus has been formed in many fields. Mario Ignacia Artaza chapters claims that a strategic partnership should focus on solving common problems under the framework of non-traditional security issues. The global environment represents a key subject of international relations, and one of which Chilean and Chinese interests could easily meet. Natural disaster management, efficient water management, and the development of green energy are other topics with common interest. All these serious matters cannot be solved in a short period of time. Nevertheless, both countries can cooperate to meet this challenge together. The last section of the book emphasizes the challenge of relations between both countries. Specifically, there are 2 chapters written by former ambassadors, Ambassador Jorge Jaime and Ambassador Li Tsinghua. The next decade provides the opportunity for consolidating a bilateral strategic partnership. Successful cooperation, for example, in countering climate change and the middle income trap, could lead to a wealthy relation between the 2 nations. In the same line, complementarity, mutual understanding, and openness to globalization are the foundation for a long-term partnership relationships. The chapter of Jorge Heine chose these ideas: seek synergy and associativity with China. For example, explore joint ventures in industries of common interest. Along the same line, he pointed out that the best way to avoid the risk of Chino dependency is to go beyond the extractive model. This is a Chilean tax. Therefore, a greater emphasis on the added value of productive activities must be incorporated. The chapter of Ambassador Li Tsinghua propose two complementary directions. First, continue to promote mutual knowledge through cooperation in different areas. Second, keep an open economy. The author point out that the current international situation is undergoing complex change. However, Li suggests to continue open at bilateral and multilateral level. In this sense, Li explained both countries can promote the joint construction of Belt and Road Initiative in South America. In conclusion, it is observed that the economic and commercial relationship between Chile and China are on a good way. The mutual economic dependency will provide both sides with powerful incentive to develop good overall relations. In fact, there is still room for future growth and collaboration. However, to develop a strategic partnership will be conditioned by bilateral and systemic factors. Bilaterally, mutual trust is a precondition for a strategic partnership. So we need to work more in this point. Internationally, it is important to keep the economy open and to respect multilateralisms. In this context, the academic cooperation of our book contributes to mutual understanding between both countries. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Professor Bórquez. We will have a seminar in January where all the authors will deep in their chapters. So we invite all of you to participate in January. And now I would like to ask Professor Lilian Ferrer, the Vice President of International Affairs of Catholic University of Chile, to address some words. So, thanks, Professor Ferrer.
Thank you, Dorotea, and thank you so much for all the authors, the authorities that are here with us today. It has really been a pleasure to participate in and getting to know in more detail about the book. I think that this is an initiative that I congratulate the University of Chile, particularly, and also the contributions of Tsinghua, and also I know that our university made a contribution with the chapter through María Montt and other authors. But I think that this is one example of international collaboration that it's really, really a good thing to have while celebrating 50 years of collaboration between our countries. So honestly, I think this is a very, I was trying to think of the word in English. In Spanish, es gratificante. So it feels really good to see examples like this. And I really look forward that we keep working together between the three universities and incorporating other universities like University of Fudan and other universities. I think that between the two countries, and why not maybe in the future other countries keep collaborating and writing together. That's always, as Rector from Universidad de Chile recalled the words of Pablo Neruda. I think that when you keep things in writing, it's always a good way to establish partnerships and leaving a legacy for the people and showing the collaboration and all the joint work that we have. So thank you so much, Professor Taotao, Professor Vera, and of course all the authorities and everybody who is here today. It has been really a pleasure. And again, I congratulate this initiative and particularly the authors. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Professor Ferrer, for your words. Absolutely, I agree with you. I have had a great experience working with the Catholic University in the organization of FLAUC and in the organization of these events. So I think we have to go on and strengthen this kind of cooperation. I also would like to thank Ambassador Reyes Mata, who is participating, congratulating Dr. Chen Taotao for his words, and one of his students, that her student that is also writing, and I have to translate it in the Google Translator to understand that he's congratulating you for your words. And also Cruzando el Pacífico, our partner who has also write to us, and Professor Vera and Professor Ferrer and their teams for a great organization of this China-Chile week. And now I will give the floor to Professor Vera to close the event.
Thank you very much, Dorotea. And I would like to add some words to reinforce what has been already said by our academic authorities, by our political authorities. It's of utmost importance that we strengthen the academic relation between China and Chile. And actually the motivation for all these activities this week has been to look forward to the next 50 years. And sometimes we're so consumed by the daily problems that we do not look forward. And the academic space is probably the one that allows us to do that. Actually, as Dorotea mentioned, last year we were hoping to be the host of the APRU APEC meeting, and we were also going to have another meeting, other international meetings in Chile that were canceled, first because of the social unrest, and second because of the pandemic. So this year has been completely out of our design. I mean, completely as uncertainty. We need to think about the future with the uncertainty of the present. And we have been able to do so. Actually, this year we were hoping to have the first China-Chile academic forum, and that we were hoping that our Chinese friends from Tsinghua, Fudan, and other universities would come to Chile and we would meet face to face. That plan continues. Of course, we will do it after the pandemic is over. And Catholic University and University of Chile have been working in these binational forums for a long time, and we've done extremely well at encouraging the existing collaborations that exist with other countries. I mean, we've done it with Japan, we've done it with Sweden, with Italy, with France, and certainly with all the momentum in the China-Chile academic activities, we were hoping to have the first China-Chile forum this year here in Santiago. And that invitation is open, and we will probably have it in 1921 or 22. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I think that the idea that we discussed a few months ago with Professor Taotao and with Catholic University, Lilian, Pedro Buchon as well, and all was to let's not wait for the pandemic is over, and let's do something very significant in December, when the diplomatic relations between Chile and China will have its 50th birthday. And let's do that opportunity to think academically about different subjects and let's put together the people that are already collaborating in this area. And the webinar today is absolutely a fantastic testimony of that. I mean, we are showing what is already in place and what is already gaining a lot of momentum. So we can really think that perhaps the first China-Chile forum is this one. It's a virtual one. And the China-Chile Week is absolutely a forum of discussion, academic activities in economics, in international relations, in online education, and how we're facing the medical health problems, the public health problems, and the science and engineering, which will be essential tools to confront the great challenges that the planet is facing. And those challenges are completely different today than they were a year ago. I mean, we have a different world, and we've had so many difficulties this year. But what is so encouraging is the reaction of the planet. I mean, I think that there's never been more spirit of collaboration than in confronting this common enemy, the COVID-19. But it's not only a health problem. It's really that we're really thinking that the world problems need collaboration, need, as our president of University of Chile was saying, a completely different approach, a transdisciplinary approach. I mean, education, health, and many others are not just subjects of a specialty. They are subjects that need a very diverse view. And that means transdisciplinarity, but it also means cultural diversity, social diversity. We need different looks to be able to face these big challenges. And so I think that we're heading to a very exciting week, and it's already, the first two webinars have been a tremendous success, and I'm really, really very glad and happy about that. And last but not the least, I really want to thank the commitment of all our staff at the three universities, because getting this seminar, getting this webinar to the point that we have seen yesterday and today involves a lot of backstage work, and we have a fantastic staff behind in all the three universities. A fantastic staff that's not only doing its work, but it's also putting its heart and its mind into something that creates passion in us, which is to look at the problems of the world and solve them together, because that's so meaningful to all of us. Thank you very much, Dorotea. You've been a fantastic host, and your work at the Institute is essential to put all this agenda for the next 50 years in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Dado. Thanks to everybody to being with us. Thanks to all the attendants. And we invite you to participate tomorrow at 9:30 for the third. You have to put your micro on.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock tomorrow for the third
The
event.
next seminars will be at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow it's online education, and it's going to be very interesting because many universities will explain what has happened this year and how we have been forced to an online education emergency, but that has been so fruitful to learn how we will face the future in education. And the following day, is also at 9 o'clock, the seminar on medical challenges of the COVID, and science and engineering on Friday. All of them 9 to 11. The one tomorrow will be a bit longer until 11:30 because it's a tremendously important and an extensive discussion, including, this is very important, we will have a panel of students who have been experiencing all these issues of online education. And actually, before also, in the previous months, we had a really wonderful activity of classes that were shared between Chinese students and Chilean students with professors in both sides. And the month before, Catholic University and the Confucius Institute had other activities. So we've had a really very good year end, and it's so encouraging to see all the enthusiasm that this has generated. Sorry, Dorotea, to interrupt you.
No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Andres wants to share the book, just that you can see it is something real.
Wonderful.
I want to thank everybody. Thanks, Vice President Chen Zhimin, Dr. Taotao, and all the authorities. And thanks to everybody. Good luck, and we see in the next event.
Thank you. Thank you all.